The next expansion in LOTRO, the Corsairs of Umbar, update 38 is once again live with another bullroarer update. This is the third beta and highly likely the last beta before this update goes live next week. And as always, I'm gonna look at all the new changes. You are now able to level 150 on the beta. So if you want to skip your character to 150 on bullroarer, you just talk to Sarmango and you can get level 150 just like that. One thing that is going to change with the level 150 cap compared to 140, it's going to be harder to max out your stats, and this in my opinion is a really good change, because for the longest time during level 140 cap we were able to cap our stats out, and we got to a point where if you're a DPS, in many cases you can simply max out your mitigations, and then you had a lot of essence slots left where you could either overcap your crit or just stack vitality. So the big change in the 150 cap is that the critical rating cap will be much harder to cap, and I tried just upgrading my allies and stacking some critical rating just to see how far you have to go. I got to 190k crit. As we can see, my critical hit chance on my ranged attacks is just above 30%. This should mean that I'm about 3% away from capping my crit because of my bonus on the heroic precision. Without this bonus, the crit cap should be 30% because of my 5% extra, so 25 plus 5. So I don't know exactly what the caps are, but it seems like critical rating you want to take above 200k to reach the cap, and the other stats should feel similar to level 140. And of course, when the update goes live, the calculators in the Ghynverse will calculate everything, will figure out the new caps, the new stats that you will need for every single class, and of course, which stats you should be aiming for and what numbers exactly to get for your characters while you're unbuffed. But the critical rating has been increased compared to the 140 cap. Everything else should be relatively normal. In my opinion, this is a great change. It definitely should be harder to cap out your stats. Also new with this build, we have updates to the maps. This is the Shield Isles. We've already seen that, but if you look at Show Map and the map filters, we now have Haradwaith as an option, the Shield Isles, which I'm selected at, and we also have Umbar and the Cape of Umbar. So let's take a look at the Cape of Umbar. So this is the Cape of Umbar, and it seems like our path, or when we get here, will be to land here in Jack's Fanel, following the road here, doing quests along, I'm sure, all the way south to Cathab, which is another town all the way south at the Cape. And then it seems like we follow the beach and the shoreline until we get to what I like to call the little fisher town of Kutra. This is another town that we're going to visit before we eventually get to the big city, the main event, Umbar Baharbel, and we're also able to go on the outskirts of the city, and I'm guessing eventually in the future we'll head further into Aradar. Seems like kind of a lot of desert going this way. I'm guessing in the future we will head into Aradar. So yeah, we do have the map of the Cape of Umbar, and the path seems pretty straightforward for where we're headed, and we can also zoom in on the city of Umbar itself. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Umbar. This is the map of Umbar Baharbel, city of the Corsairs. So we finally have a map of the city, making it a bit easier to navigate through the city. You can see the Colosseum on the far right here, as well as see all the roads. You can see where we have some reputation rewards, the stars, as well as everything else, everything that's standard. We have the milestone, we have the boat travel, and you can also see where each of the roads actually lead. So the maps have been updated. We now have all the maps for the new zones. Another beta build, another chance to snoop a bit in the Itemtreasury scanner. So let's see if there are any new items. Gonna hit go. Already we can see some essences, supplemental fate and supplemental vitality. This is a new type of essence we haven't seen before. We'll look a bit closer at essences later. Some tracery stuff, crafted stuff, some crafted food recipes. You can see the Umbari drum recipes. We can see that the crafted gear have the new type of essences, where you will need the primary essence, the vital essence, and the basic essence. So the essences are now labeled on the items, as we can see. primary essence, basic essence, and if you get the purple upgrade, you add a vital essence to it. Mariner flute. Good to see that mariners keep some of their bonuses, the 5% finisher skills damage and single target attack damage. More flutes. There's some armor, seafarer armor, so I'm guessing this is mariner starter item of some sort. Oh, minimum level 105. This is level 105 stuff, 120 stuff. Okay, so this is just armor getting added throughout the game for the mariner. So older items for the mariner. A lot of crafting recipes, bow chant. This seems like basic stuff that we get with every update. The recipes bind to account on acquire, interesting. From what I could see on my Discord server where people posted, there seems to be the scroll cases dropping again, where you can get recipes from. And personally, I did quite enjoy that. Getting recipes from landscape and opening up, see what you get. Kind of cool, and you can probably share them as well with other people. This seems like pretty standard stuff. It seems like some of the armor stuff, they're all single-use recipes. Using this scroll grants a tailored recipe. I wonder if this means you can only craft it once or if you can learn it once. Hopefully learn it once. But it seems like pretty standard crafted items as we know, only with the new types of essences. Seems fairly standard, I would say. So a lot more of the recipes. Moving forward, new skills that I don't know what it is. Here we go. Umbar Jeweler's Scroll Case. So the scroll cases are returning, it seems like, where you should be able to acquire the scroll cases and open them up to get one recipe for your craft. And I kind of like that, bringing these items back. Hopefully they will drop from landscape, so it will actually give you some benefits of actually doing landscape and questing and stuff, getting some of these along the way. We have some music themes, 6 different new music themes for people who enjoy housing. A suspicious area, interesting. Steed of Umbar, so a new horse. Let's see if we can see Steed of Umbar. Steed of Umbar will look like this. Available for completing the Deed Umbar Completionist. So this horse will be available by completing, I guess, the meta deed for Umbar. It will give you a brand new horse. We come upon a bunch of housing items. So for people who enjoy housing, this is for you. A lot of new housing items that you can acquire. Probably a lot of stuff inspired from Umbar itself. More crafting recipes. These seems to be crafting of housing items. The woodworker recipes where you can craft different kind of housing items. And some tailor as well, where you can craft more housing items. And that seems to be it for new items. I quite like seeing the scroll cases being back. Hopefully they drop from landscape and not only from barter. Will be nice if people can actually sell those recipes on the market. And we can get the crafting economy going again. Time to look at the reputation factions and their vendors. The Renewal of Gondor is your reputation faction for the King's Gondor area, so Western King's Gondor and Outer King's Gondor. And it seems like compared to live, there's extra layers unlocked after Kindred. So anyone who actually maxed out their reputation with the Renewal of Gondor, there will be extra layers for you to max out. And looking at the reputation barter, the quartermaster, the Renewal of Gondor rewards, what you're seeing on the screen right now is what's new compared to live. Obviously, we are unlocking more lands towards the west, so we're getting our port skills to Lond-Kiryon and Dol Amroth. So normal return skills, the Hunter Port, Mariner Sail Port, and the Warden Muster for Lond-Kiryon and Dol Amroth. This is new in Acquaintance. Also worth mentioning the mark cap of the Marks of Renewal, which is your barter tokens for the Gondor reputation, has had its cap increased to 750. And taking a look at Frontier, this is new compared to live. You can get your Outer Gondor landscape themes housing item. You can also get the Seafarer's Humble Essence box, which I believe will be the lowest class essence out there. So for 25 Marks of Renewal, you can get 1 yellow essence, the Humble Seafarer's Essence. On the ally tier, there are no changes. It remains the same as live. And the last tier, which is Kindred, has 3 new items: Street Market Stall and a Renew Gondor Edifice. I think that's how you say that word, I'm not sure. but 2 new housing items for Kindred Reputation with the Renewal of Gondor rewards, and also the Tome of the Ferocious Battle Kitten. So we're going to take a look at this Battle Kitten, go ahead and use it, and bring out the Battle Kitten. This is what you're getting. Sandy Ferocious Battle Kitten. This is kind of like a, I guess, a lion kind of looking creature, or a saber-tooth kind of looking creature. But you can now get yourself your very own Battle Kitten, Ferocious Battle Kitten. The other new faction in this update will be the Citizens of Umbar Baharbel, and it seems like the max reputation you can get currently is Friend. They will be using the Umbari Tam as their barter items, and you can start earning rep with this faction as soon as you reach the Shield Isles and onwards towards Umbar. So naturally, we're going to look at all the rewards you can get from this faction. If you are neutral with Umbar, these are the rewards you can get. You get your typical return skills and your Hunter, Mariner, and Warden ports to 3 different locations: Jack's Fanel, Halrax, and Umbar itself. You're also able to get the Seafarer's Humble Essence box. For being acquaintance, there's quite a few housing items. All the housing items you can see here, and also the ones on the right. I couldn't tooltip everything, but these are all your housing items available for you by being acquaintance to Umbar. The same thing applies here. All the H-tagged items, as well as the 4 items on the right here, are under the walls and floors and requires acquaintance as well. So even more housing items for being acquaintance with Umbar. And also by being acquaintance, you get quite a few housing services, where it seems like you can get a few crafting stations, as well as a summonable stable master and dockmaster for your house. If you become friend with Umbar, there are more housing items to get, including some recipes you can learn as a woodworker, and a tailor to craft more items for your housing. There's also a Tome of the Crocodile Hatchling, and let's just take a quick look at that hatchling, see what it looks like. I'm gonna lose my Ferocious Battle Kitten, but I'm gonna get my Crocodile Hatchling. So if you become friend with the Umbar faction, you can get your Crocodile Hatchling. And additionally, if you also become friend, there's a tab called Crafting Recipes, and this seems to be one of the main ways to get your new crafting recipes for stuff like class items. You can see instruments, carvings for wardens, chisels, signals, cappy banners. So I'm just quickly gonna hover over every single recipe so we can see what their base output will be. Another thing that will make a return this update is allegiances. In Umbar, in the city of Umbar, there's going to be 2 different allegiances. We have one up here in the north and one down here a bit more in the middle of the city. And to find our allegiance panel, we click the arrow at the bottom, character and allegiances. And as we can see, we do have the ones from Mordor. We do have the Gundabad one. And with the Corsairs of Umbar update, we're getting 2 new allegiances. So the first one is called Ledger's Keepers. Once a clandestine group working to identify would-be enemies of the heirs of Castamere, the Ledger's Keepers reformed under the Kindred of the Coins with a new purpose. The Ledger's Keepers of Umbar Baharbel now log actions and deeds undertaken by citizens and guests of the country alike into ledgers meant to weigh the measure and heft of the people's contributions. It may seem an intrusive and unnecessary effort, but in a nation once ruled by vile tyranny and secrets, the transparency is a welcome change to the populace. So this is the Ledger's Keepers. We're gonna go ahead and hit join, and as usual we have the different levels, and I think once you level up like 1 and 2 there will be more levels added on. Or possibly this is not just fully implemented yet. It seems like for now we have 10 different levels. I just want to see if you can be in both allegiances at the same time. You can, but it says that one is active. So I'm pretty sure, as with Gundabad, we will have to get the those items, the tokens that will level our allegiances. And whichever one is active will be the one you get reputation for. If you want to switch back to the Ledger's Keeper, you just set it as active. So yeah, we can see that any allegiance points you gain will be funneled only to your active allegiance. Are you sure you want to set this as your currently active allegiance? You may only have one active at a time, yes. So whichever one is active is the one you will earn the points for. And once you level your allegiance, you earn your marks. So Ledger Keeper's marks for the Ledger Keepers, and Eagle bits for the other faction, which is the Order of the Eagle. And what is the Order of the Eagle all about? The sudden fall of the heirs of Castamere and rise of the kindred of the coins aroused suspicion in Gondor that a new threat from the lands to the south festers. In an effort to ensure that the threats posed by the nation in the past do not return, Prince Imrahil employs the service of spies and citizens embedded in the region during the reign of the heirs of Castamere to track the efforts of Umbar's people. More importantly, the Order of the Eagle watches the kindred and looks to contain them should they prove to be a threat to Gondor. So we have two different allegiances and they both have different rewards, so we're going to take a look at those rewards right now. So the first allegiance, the Ledger's Keepers, can be found north in the city at my current location. You can talk to Afamar and these are his rewards. The Ledger's Keepers give you these cosmetics. There's some music themes, a bookcase, a waypost sculpture. There's 2 cosmetic weapons and a tome of the Silver Donkey. And currently I cannot find the Silver Donkey in the collections panel, but you can get a tome of the Silver Donkey from the Ledger Keepers. Let's take a look at these cosmetic weapons. A replica sword of Nakasi. Let us see. So this is the replica sword of Nakasi. My right hand right now. Kind of tricky to see. And we also have the replica sword of Tumuldo. The long sword. So those are your 2 cosmetic weapons. You can also earn some armor from this allegiance. These are your available chest pieces. These are your available gloves. And these are your available leggings. The other allegiance is the Order of the Eagle, and the border for that allegiance can be found close to the East Gate at my current location right here. And you can talk to Akardis the Healer for the Eagle rewards. The Order of the Eagle cosmetics consists of 4 housing items, as well as a tome of the Lion Cub. And we can actually look at the Lion Cub in the collections panel. This is your little Lion Cub, should you choose to get it. And just like the Ledger's Keepers, the Order of the Eagle also have their own armor. And these are your helms. These are your shoulders. And these are your boots. When it comes to our task items for this update, obviously with new factions and a new level cap, there's going to be new task items needed. And as we can see, I found a task bulletin board in one of the new areas. And it seems like King's Gondor West and Outer King's Gondor, which would be the Renewal of Gondor, they will only have one type of task items they can use, which is the Pitted Axe item. So make sure you keep your Pitted Axes on your adventurers. And for Umbar, you have 5 different tasks, so make sure you keep your Brine Touch Claws, Brine Touch Ears, Corroded Cutlass Sheets, Salty Goose, and Sea Toss Skin. These are your new task items for the next expansion. I don't think the crafting is 100% ready yet, but we're still going to take a quick look at all the professions and their base recipes, and here are some of the base items that you'll find in the game. These are your current base cook items, current base recipes for farming, as well as the Gundabad field, current base recipes for forester, current base recipes for jeweler, base recipes for metalsmith, base recipes for prospector, base scholar recipes, base tailor recipes, base weaponsmith recipes, base woodworker recipes. I also wanted to take a quick look at the essences and try to explain a little bit what it's going to look like. I know we've seen this before, but the essence slots are now labeled on gear, and the 3 different slots we have are the primary essence, vital essence, and basic essence. So if we hover over an essence, you can see which essence type it is. Physical Mastery is a basic essence, so Physical Mastery will only go into this slot, into the basic essence. Into the green, the vital essence slot, you can put 2 different type of essences, the Vitality or the Faith. But I'm pretty sure most people will do Vitality because you don't usually need the power from the Fate. And the last one is the primary essence, which will be either Might, Agility, or Will. So main stat goes into that slot. So any essence from resistance and up will be a basic essence going into the basic slot. Then you have Might, Agility, and Will. These 3 will go into primary. And then Fate or Vitality goes into Vital. And also at the bottom we have something called Supplemental Essence of Vitality or Fate. These are also basic essences, meaning they go into the basic. And they are primarily there for, I would say, for tanks. Because if you are a tank and your mitigations are capped, obviously you won't get as much Vitality as from the Vital Essence. But it's still more Vitality, which tanks will need. So the Supplemental Essence of Vitality and also Fate is there to give you the option of putting more Vitality into the basic essence if you prefer. So from what we've heard, it seems like these type of essences will mainly be from crafted items. But of course we'll see when we get instances and raids in the future what type of gear we'll get from that. But for now, it seems like this kind of system is primarily on crafted gear, and depending on the type of essences, you can use different essences. And just to clarify again, primary essence, you can slot anything from resistance and up, or the supplemental essence at the bottom. Into the vital essence slot, you can only put the essence of Fate or Vitality, and into primary, you can only slot Might, Agility, or Will. For PvMP, a couple of notes worth mentioning. For Orc Defiler, the Sticky Feet fire mitigation debuff has been reduced from 5% to 2%, but the Sticky Feet tactical mitigation debuff has changed from a rating value to a 5% reduction. For the Beorning class, a few skills unintentionally had a knockback attached to them, and this should now only be a thing for Final Strike and Savage Knockdown. The red line trait Composure is now affected by the blue line set bonus Animalistic, and Counter gets buffed up from 10% base evade chance to 15% evade chance. For Burglar, Provoke cooldown has been reduced by 2 seconds. For Captain, Shadow's Lament is reduced to a 10-second cooldown. For the Loremaster class, Burning Embers can now deal partial pulses, meaning that you won't lose any DPS if you upgrade or downgrade your Burning Embers bleed. For Mariner, the West Wind skill will no longer give an overwhelmingly glow to your allies when you use that buff, and the Firepot dot crit chance should now work properly. If you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing, as it really helps out the channel. And if you like LOTRO, I would really recommend joining my Discord servers. You can also support me directly through my Ko-fi website. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghynverse is a Discord server created for the community of the players of Lord of the Rings Online. The server is getting close to 7,000 members, and in this server you'll find tons of helpful information. There's monthly giveaways, easy access to patch notes, you can keep up with my YouTube videos, my streams. If you're a streamer, you can ask for the streamer role and you can announce your streams in the other stream channel. There are discussion channels for pretty much everything, every class, monster players. But the best thing about this server is probably the Gearing Resources tab, where you can find anything from trait lines for every class, every build. There are stat goals where you can find out what stats you should aim for on your characters. Really helpful information about drop rates from instances, as well as screenshot from all the new loot that appears in the game. If you enjoy LOTRO, you should definitely consider joining this server, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle-earth. If you were part of the Ghyniverse already, you might have noticed that another tab appeared at the top, the LFF server. This server is a brand new server that I created, the LFF Ghyniverse. In this server, you can select which servers you want to keep up with, and once you select your server, say you select Arkenstone, you will see the LFF, the kinship advertisement, looking for kinship and trade channels, and there's also voice channels if people want to use those. The LFF channel is basically a looking for fellowship channel where people can post if they need players for the runs, and this way people don't have to be logged into the game to see the chat. They can just instead get a notification on their Discord. There's also a kinship advertisement page where kins can post their kinship advertisement and have people join their kins, and you can also post in the looking for kinship chat if you're looking for a kinship, but make sure to take a look in the kinship advertisement first and look through all the kin to find a suitable kin for you. There's also a trade channel if people want to buy or sell stuff that you can use. Hopefully you'll consider joining this server to bring the community even more together, not just in the game, but also outside of the game.